Hi guys, sorry about our workshop today. It didn't work out of some technical issues. I thought I'm going to send you this video just to help you out today with booking your workers. There are a few changes that might cause you problems, and I will cover that in this video. So what has changed first of all is that all the rates now for AWR pre and post parity are in one template, and you can also add, as usually, limited company pay rates and different PYE, umbrella, etc. But also you can update the charge rate, so you can have different pay and charge rates for each pay schedule. So first of all, let's start with the work details. We've got a little change in here. We've got some information about skills, which we can actually add later, to be honest. So there is a work type. As you can see now, what changed is that you have all sorts of different work types, including unknown, if that's what you want to add, and that is required. The reason why it's required, it's also for AWR. So if we have, for example, a technician and technicians working some amount of days on this template and then switches to the other, that will be different, separate AWR records for them. And then we have a table shift length hours. That's as usual, and nothing changed here. And then we save and we can go to the next screen, which, as you can see now, you probably noticed before, it was like the list on the left hand side was really long. Now everything is basically in the rates. So what happens here is we have a list of regular types of workers. So we have PYE, limited, umbrella, partner agency, or self-employed, not defined. What we do here is we do defined rates, and we can create a new rate plan if you don't have any, or we can clone if we have some existing. As you can see, we have none at the moment, so we need to create a new one. I'll also show you how to clone in a second, so that's probably what you're going to need to do with most of your templates that causing you problems. So create a new shift plan. What do we do now first is for AWR status, we can choose if it's pre, post, or Swedish derogation, which then lets the DX know which rate to apply for the particular worker. So all the AWR records that added previously to the profiles are going to match to the AWR status on your template, which means that if someone is eligible for post parity, they will be on post parity rate. So let's do post parity. Name is optional, you don't have to add it, but you can add the date, or you can add, as usual, whatever you prefer. We just create. We can also leave it blank, by the way. So as you can see, that's totally different now, and we still have worker type. Now we have PYE and PYE post parity. So if the worker has on the AWR, they will be matched to PYE. However, if there is any record, they will need to be on pre-parity, and then they will switch to post-parity as soon as they work 12 weeks. So let's add some rates in here and some rate rules. What do we have here? Rate rules. That's the screen that was actually separate before. So if we do edit, we can add exactly the same information as previously. So if it's the rates are flat, or if they're dynamic, what's the break length, when does it apply, and then if they're paid, how breaks are deducted. Remember, they can change that in here as well. Overtime, if it's paid, There is this new thing now. Sorry if I'm going too fast. So let's go back to basic. That you can set up overtime to be paid at different hours for each day. So let's say someone there is a job that pays overtime Monday to Friday after 8 hours, but on weekends they pay overtime after 6 hours. So you can set it up here. So you can do advanced, and you can set up that to sorry, 8, 8, 8. You can even do 8.5, 8:45 minutes if that's something you need. And then we can do Saturday, Sunday, 6 hours. And then we've got guaranteed shift length. That is usual, normal, kind of rules as before. Weekly overtime paid after how many hours? That's exactly the same as it was before. Guaranteed minimum hours per week is also the same. Then, if you wanted to update your holiday allowance and holiday hours per day, that's where you do that now. It used to be in different places. It used to be where you set up your pay rates, and now it's here. So if you're looking for it, it's just here for you. So let's save that. So we sorted our rules. You can see the overtime is paid after 8 hours on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then it changes on the weekend. Then we have our rates. That's the same. We can edit them here. What's different is we can do add rate. So it's a little bit different way now. Add rate in here, and we can choose what is it. So we have weekdays, weekday alternative, all sorts of different rates. Bank holidays, extra weekday day, whatever you need to call it, basically. And there is option weekly overtime. So if you do have weekly overtime, then I would suggest using weekly overtime nominated rate, and then put the rate in here as weekly overtime. So what do we do? Let's do weeknight as well, for example, and we do 13. And we can set up our overtime charge. So as you remember before, it was the premium that we were adding to the DX. So we were doing, let's say £2, yes? And then it was calculated that to 15. And now we just do 15. So it's maybe closer to what you would normally have in your systems as well. Then we add the pay rate. Sorry about that. Well, maybe and 14, let's say. You can add your pension and the occupancy. Sorry. Yeah, let's keep it. So you can add it here, of course, and then what's the next thing is to establish what rates apply at what time, so we can edit that here. We can set up the simple one, so the day starts at that time, night starts at that time, or we can go advanced, and that's where you've got, again, what you used to have on your rate hours before the change. So that is going to work exactly the same way. So what rate is it, what day is it, and what time does it start? And as soon as you save it, let's make some change maybe in here so we can see how it changes on the something doesn't work here. 1 second. I think I broke something. Monday, 6 to 16, weeknight, 6 to 18. 0 to 6, weeknight, 6, 18, 6, 18. That should all be good. Okay, that's That's the problem, I think, with Saturday twice. Saturday. It's not really helpful, is it? Yes, I'm quite sure I'm actually using the demo version, which means that our dev team is actually currently working on it, making changes and making it all better, which means that there may be some stuff that isn't actually working currently. So yes, that should work, properly on your live system. So basically, you set up your times as you did before, and then you save. And then we can set up our holiday rates in here. So add a holiday rate, a spring bank holiday in example, which is the next one coming. So you have a list of bank holidays in here, and then you can set up in here what time do you want it to start. So that's another change or something different. We didn't have that before you had to learn. You wanted some specific times to be added. Now you can just put whatever you please, or whatever is accurate. And then we can set up our rates. If we previously, of course, set up the bank holiday rate, if not, we can only choose from what we have set up. Save holiday rates, and it's of course telling us that we proposing to add the rate, and that's all. And now you in here advanced settings. What is quite important if you wanted to use is allow worker to cancel a shift. You may want to do that. And then we have start day of week, as usually if it's different than Sunday, then you can change it here. I think that we've added, but you would need to check it with your finance team as well, with your managers, if that would affect anything, because there is an option to that add default PO number. So instead of every week when you log into your sites adding manually the PO number, if it's exactly the same, you can just set it up previously in here, and it will automatically show what you've set up. Quite sure you can still change it if it's not correct anymore, but then I'll suggest going back to these templates to make a change, so you don't need to kind of override it every week. And that's basically all. So now, just to let you know, I know you have some problems today with your allocation. So what it could be is that, for example, your PY worker what's supposed to be on post parity because they've worked more than 12 weeks, but you don't have post parity rate set up. And also, someone has only 2 weeks of the AWR record on the system, and it will want you to put them on the pre-parity rate. My solution is new version, which means that we are copying this version that we're looking at currently with the same rates. If they are all the same, we're just going to change it to also apply to pre-parity. And we can also do that to apply to PYE for the people who don't have any record. Yes, so then they neither pre nor post parity. Just click on the new version in here, and in this case, we can see two options: either to create an entirely new plan or a clone existing rate plan. If we click on clone existing rate plan, just make sure that you are creating rate plan for the correct AWR status, the one that you intend to. So we want to do a pre-parity in here. We don't need to put the name if we can't come up with anything that's that's helpful. Then the next thing that is important to check is what we're cloning it from. So worker type, PY equals parity, that's what we want. and that's the version. There's no more, there are a couple more versions, but that's the current one, and that's the one we want to change. So we click clone, and we have our new version created. As you can see, it says pre-parity, initial rates, current, and all the details, everything basically clones exactly the same way. So you don't really, need to do anything with that anymore, and your all pre-parity workers are going to be able to be allocated. The only thing is that if you have already booked someone for this week, and you, for example, you're just adding today, then you're going to have a few sheets that are on the wrong rate. So if you go back to your finance screen, you will see in shift details that it will say that there is a mismatch and that the pre-parity rates are available. To make this change, to update your template, timesheet, you can just click on the planned start time and set it kind of changes, but to exactly the same one. So choose the reason for change as other or anything like that, and click change, and it's just gonna, and then if you refresh the screen, it's gonna update the correct one. It may cause you some issues. I'm not entirely sure, because we're not sure ourselves right now how is it going to be on the payroll day. But if you could say, I would just make sure that they all switched over to the new ones. So what else we can do for you in this case? If you have a lot of workers already booked on the same template, we can switch them over for you using Special Hero, which makes it much quicker. So you don't have to go through one by one, and we could just rebook them all for you. But this will be for a whole week only. We can do only whole week, and we can do all workers for the specific template. You just need to let us know which one is it, and we do the refresh for you. So what's the next thing in here I wanted to show you is that now you can actually define your rates ahead, and you can change your rates, for example, to the peak times now, and just set the date when is it going to apply from. Also, in the situation where you're adding rates for last week, so for week 18, am I right? If you're adding some shifts for last week, which obviously you wouldn't be doing on Friday, but let's say next week you want to add some more shifts on Monday, for the payroll for this week, and you realize that something is wrong, you need to create a new version. There is, I think, that you're going to be happy about. You can set live your new rate from the chosen week, actually. So if we go again now, new version, the only thing is that it's only going to show you to set live if we have actually already set up the this type of rate plan. So if we go up, new version, and now we can do clone existing one, the same one, name is optional, and you can see the option effective from, and you can choose here for that to be effective from week 18, for example. And then if there are any shifts on this week for this particular person running template, you will be asked if you want to set it live. So as soon as we clone it, at the moment, because we don't have any shifts, of course, we're not going to be asked that. There will be a banner here that will explain you that currently your rates are not live, and please make your changes. So you can edit everything, you can edit the rate, everything. And then whenever you're ready and you're sure that all is correct, you can just click set live, and all shifts are going to be recalculated. So that's probably helpful for you if you need to add some shifts for the previous week and make some changes. So that's actually all. I'm not going to keep you any longer because I'm sure you're all busy and you just want to stop adding your shifts. So thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, just give us a call.